The days of grand adventure of Greek mythos are over. Hercules' labors were many years ago. The days of the Greek gods have ended. No longer will Athena challenge mortals to weaving competitions. No more will demigods go on grand quests and slay dangerous beasts. The days of grand adventure are finished. But what if it wasn't? What if the gods of Greek mythos still held sway over the workings of the world? What if demigods still went on glorious quests? What if titans and giants still plot our destruction, hidden away from the eyes of the mortal world? This was the realization that Jason came to in the middle of a field trip he had no recollection of going on. My choice reading book was The Lost Hero by Riordan. Riordan?
Riordan.
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 Riordan. Really? Riordan. Riordan.
Riordan.
Okay. The Lost Hero by Riordan is honestly one of the best books I've ever read. It's a bit of a spin-off of the famous Percy Jackson series, and itself is the first book in the Heroes of Olympus book saga. This fantasy novel was first released in 2010, and has since gained such a following that it even has a graphic novel version. Go Heroes of Olympus. Alright, here's a summary that I know you're all dying to hear. So, Jason wakes up on a bus in the middle of Arizona on a field trip to the Grand Canyon. For most people, a school field trip to the Grand Canyon would make their day, but Jason was in an unusual circumstance. When he woke up, he had no recollection of anything. He didn't know why he was on a bus filled with unruly kids, he didn't know why the field trip supervisor was looking at him like he wasn't supposed to be there, he didn't know the name of the girl he was holding hands with, and he didn't even know his own name. Meanwhile, Piper McLean couldn't help but notice the concern on Jason's face as Leo Vladas, their best friend, plays yet another prank on their chaperone, Coach Edge. Even before he was electrocuted, Jason was having a rotten day. He woke up in the backseat of his school bus, not sure where he was, holding hands with a girl he didn't know. The girl was cute, but he couldn't figure out who she was or what he was doing there. He sat back up and rubbed his eyes, trying to think. A few dozen kids sprawled in the seats in front of him, listening to iPods, talking, or sleeping. They all looked around his age. 15? 16? Okay, that was scary. He didn't even know his own age. The bus rumbled along a bumpy road. Out the windows, desert rolled by under a bright blue sky. Jason was pretty sure he didn't live in the desert. He tried to think back. The last thing he remembered. The girl squeezed his hand. Jason, you okay? She wore faded jeans, hiking boots, and a fleece snowboarding jacket. Her chocolate brown hair was cut, choppy, and uneven, with thin strands braided down the sides. She wore no makeup like she was trying not to draw attention to herself, but it didn't work. She was seriously pretty. Her eyes seemed to change color like a kaleidoscope. Brown, blue, and green. Jason let go of her hand. I don't... At the front of a bus, a teacher shouted, "Alright, cupcakes, listen up." The guy was obviously a coach. His baseball cap was pulled low over his hair, so you could just see his beady eyes. He had a wispy goatee and a sour face, like he'd eaten something moldy. His buff arms and chest pushed against a bright orange polo shirt. His nylon workout pants and Nikes were spotless white. A whistle hung from his neck, and a megaphone was clipped to his belt. He would have looked pretty scary if he hadn't been 5'0". When he stood up in the aisle, one of the students called, "Stand up, Coach Edge!" "I heard that." Coach scanned the bus for the offender, then his eyes fixed on Jason, and his scowl deepened. A jolt went down Jason's spine. He was sure the coach knew he didn't belong here, and he was going to call Jason out, demand to know what he was doing on the bus. Jason wouldn't have a clue what to say, but Coach Edge looked away and cleared his throat. "We'll arrive in 5 minutes. Stay with your partner. Don't lose your worksheets. And if any of you precious little cupcakes causes any trouble on this trip, I will personally send you back to campus the hard way." He picked up a baseball bat like he was hitting a homer. Jason looked at the girl next to him. "Can he talk to us that way?" She shrugged. "Always does. This is the wilderness school, where kids are the animals." She said it like it was a joke they'd shared before. This is some kind of mistake, Jason said. I'm not supposed to be here. The boy in front of him turned and laughed. Yeah, right, Jason. We've all been framed. I didn't run away 6 times, and Piper didn't steal a BMW. The girl blushed. I didn't steal that car, Leo. Oh, I forgot, Piper. What was your story? You talked the dealer into lending it to you. He raised his eyebrows at Jason, like, can you believe her? Leo looked like Latino Santa's elf, with curly black hair, pointy ears, and a cheerful babyish face, and a mischievous smile that told you right away that this guy should not be trusted around matches or sharp objects. His long, nimble fingers wouldn't stop moving, drumming on the seat, sweeping his hair behind his ears, fiddling with the buttons on his army fatigue jacket. Either the kid was naturally hyper, or he was hooped up on enough sugar and caffeine to give a heart attack to a water buffalo. Anyway, Leo said, I hope you got your worksheet because I used mine for spitwads days ago. Why are you looking at me like that? Somebody draw my face again? I don't know you, Jason said. Leo gave him a crocodile grin. Sure, I'm not your best friend, I'm his evil clone. Leo, that is, Coach Edge yelled from the front. Problem back there? Leo winked at Jason. Watch this. He turned to the front. Sorry, Coach. I was having trouble hearing you. Could you use your megaphone, please? Coach Edge grunted like he was pleased to have an excuse. He unclipped the megaphone from his belt and continued giving directions, but his voice came out like Darth Vader's. The kids cracked up and the coach tried again, but this time the megaphone blared.
The call says...
We haven't gotten to the meat of this chapter, but if I read the rest of it, it would take me another 32 minutes. I would know because I actually did read the rest of the chapter. Unfortunately, I don't have the time, and you don't have the patience to listen to that. So, summary for those who weren't paying attention. Lost Hero good, complex characters, and overall awesome narrative. If you're willing to read it, you will not want to put it down. If you struggled to watch this video, just think about how I felt making it. Thank you for your time, now go away.